Mo Salah has committed his future, finally, to Liverpool. Yep. And Cass, I know we talked about it a little bit already earlier on, but you were saying it was always going to be a battle, perhaps, to keep both. It was essential that they kept the player that wanted to stay, and for whatever reason, Mane didn't feel as though his time at Liverpool needed to be extended. Very different story for Mo Salah. You have to be delighted as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, and, you know, I look at Mo and think he's 5 years at Liverpool since 2017. You know, looking at his goal record of 168 appearances, 118 goals. That speaks for itself. 60 in the Champions League, 34 goals. That's a 1 in 2 man. Mm-hmm. Now, you're going to play the absolute crown jewels for that, you know, getting a 1 in 2 man. And I think his attitude since he's been at Liverpool has been exceptional. A really tenacious hunger, desire to get goals for Liverpool. Fitted into the team style. Got Trent behind him, which is a massive plus, because I think their sort of quality as they work in tandem with each other is exceptional. You know, not only I wouldn't want to play if I was Mo Salah and I could do what Mo could do. I couldn't think of a better fullback or wing back behind me than Trent. Because who's going to bring the best out of you? Well, he will sometimes make movement to get into Mo's position and allows Mo Salah to get in the central position. Yeah, and he does that brilliantly well. And I always said, if you want to, he's playing the best football in his career, and I don't believe that if he'd have left Liverpool, he would have played as well elsewhere. It was the perfect club for him and the perfect fullback behind him. For him to continue to be successful.
31 goals he scored last season, 23 in the Premier League, 8 coming in the Champions League. You look at his season as a whole, Cass, I mean, the first half in particular was just, it felt like goal the whole time. It did drop off a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you think Liverpool can go about ensuring that he remains consistent throughout the season? Or is that a bit harsh because he still scored a number of goals?
I was going to say now, did we really think that he was going to play all season to the level of what he did, certainly sort of the turn of the year?
Well, he wanted to. I mean, obviously, that's a silly question because that's obvious, but we were at the Football Writers Awards dinner where he won that award. He spoke there, which was, I don't know, I forget how many games it was now before the end of the season, but he said he was still targeting 40 for the season. So he still had that fire in his belly. It just didn't quite pan out.
No, he didn't play as well, but I'm not seeing it. Look, he's just turned 30. Mm-hmm. He's not 30, 31 now, coming up in the next month or two. In June, he's just turned 30. So Liverpool have got him on the perfect deal, which is 3 years. It takes him to 33. That might suit him as well. In that contract, if you're adding it all together, it's going to cost Liverpool £55 million. They haven't had to go and spend the sort of money they spent on Núñez to go and get another player in that replaces him. Mo's goals are so extraordinary, the numbers. And by the way, you can go back as far back as 2015 to say Mo Salah's been a 1 in 2 man. Okay. 1 in 2, because if you go back to Fiorentina and you go back to Roma he got 14 goals in 32 games, and Fiorentina he got 6 in sort of 10 and some substitute appearances. So he's been a 1 in 2 man for 7 years. Now, if I was a manager and I think I'm getting 3 years' work out of one of the best goal scorers around in European football for another 3 years, I'd be delighted. I mean, his record is, and it's. I always say to you, Nat, I've never seen a player that creates so many chances for himself, because he's always running and chasing and hassling defenders, making it difficult. Now, is there a slight risk that some players' foot comes off the pedal because they sign this incredible deal? If I don't see the Aubameyang, the Alexis Sanchez type of player, and you could put Ozil in there as well, where they certainly didn't look as hungry and inspired, but he's always had this in his belly.
So when you look at the options for Jurgen Klopp for next season, Salah obviously now committing his future. You've got Diaz, you've got Jota, Núñez, Firmino. Who's going to be his first choice?
Well, I think it's a tough one, because obviously if your form goes slightly, but Salah will play the right. I think certainly I would say Diaz will probably get the left side and Núñez will play down the middle. Yeah. But Jota will compete because he's got that same sort of desire that Salah's got. His goal record is great. When he comes in, he seems to really want to fight for his place. If anyone drops off, someone steps in. I think that's quite clear. I mean, Firmino's a tremendous player. I've always really loved enjoying watching him. And it's been a funny season for him this year at Liverpool because he's played second fiddle. And maybe even behind that. Sometimes I felt he's nearly fourth or fifth choice. And he's a terrific footballer. He's got so much more ability than most strikers have and can drop into spaces and make things happen. When Liverpool at their really best, he would drop into spaces and everything beyond was done by Mane and Salah. So it's a different dynamic now Núñez has come. But Mo Salah staying is a big statement for Liverpool because they need him to just do what he's done. We're not asking for, well, you always expect you want improvement and more, but the same again would be nice. That ain't going to be bad, is it?